Look, I know you're awesome. I'm sure your family sort of knows you're awesome too. Maybe your boss knows you're awesome. But when you really think about it, you just want your man to know that you're awesome and have him value you. A lot of relationships get to a place where he just stops valuing you. Well, it's time to turn that around. Today I'm going to show you what to do if he stops valuing you. Do this. Hey, this is Carlos Cavallo from datingfire.com and datingadviceguru.com. Welcome back to the dating and relationship secrets you need to know. Now, I probably don't need to go through a lot of the signs that he doesn't value you. You can kind of pick this up on your own, can't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. But let's do a brief recap of some of the ways that you might be seeing him not valuing you. Number one, he doesn't seem to respect you. Well, this one's pretty big because it includes a whole lot of small things too, such as him only half listening to you, or maybe he's rude or condescending in conversation. He doesn't seem to hold you in high esteem. No, we're not going to start singing Aretha Franklin here about R-E-S-P-E-C-T, but you do know that you need respect, right? Sign number two is he takes it for granted, meaning that he acts like he doesn't have to make any effort to keep you. And I have to tell you that you control this to a large degree. Maybe you haven't made it clear that there is a consequence for not treating you right. One of the most common problems that I see actually is that a woman hasn't properly communicated that if the guy doesn't meet her standards, she's out the door. In fact, the opposite is usually communicated, that she's going to keep coming back again and again no matter how badly he treats her. And this is usually because a woman is built to be nurturing and loving, and you want to communicate that to him and show him that unconditional love. But you also have to communicate that you are willing to walk if it comes to it. I'm going to come back to that one. The third sign is he manipulates you, right? This one is usually done through guilt. Guilt tripping is one of the easiest ways to manipulate people, and guys do it all the time with women. Remember, it takes two to tango, so don't go and get into that game. Sign number four is he doesn't value your life, meaning that he doesn't seem to be interested in what's going on with you. This is usually a sign or a symptom of a guy who is only in a relationship for sex. Sign number five is he makes all the decisions. Him. Yeah, that's right. Obviously, this is another sign of disrespect, as well as possibly a sign of him being a control freak. If he isn't treating you as an equal in the relationship, you have to show him that you are his equal. Sixth sign is that you feel the imbalance. There's always a significant difference in the power and feelings in a relationship where he doesn't value you. I mean, when you cut right down to the chase, this is where you feel it the most, right? And one more sign, number seven, is you don't feel safe with him. What I mean by this is that he doesn't seem to be protective of you. You don't feel as if your emotions are safe out in the open. Your heart is defensive, and so are you. And I think you know what I mean here, right? This is when your shift of feelings goes from love to suspicion and self-protection. Right now, though, you're probably wondering if you can get him to change, to make him interested again, to get him to value you in the relationship. And the short answer is yes, you can get him to turn around, although I will give you a few caveats. The first is that if this has been going on for a long time, you really got your work cut out for you. You'd do a lot better if you just give up on him and find another man. The second caveat is that the longer you've been in a relationship, the harder it is for you to let him go. It's the same for all of us, every person. Our hearts want to save this thing that we've cultivated, this relationship, even when our minds know that it's probably not possible. So make sure you also have a resolve to move on if the time is right. Hey, if you're wondering about how to get him interested in you again because you lost his respect or any of the things that come along that take away that valuing you, the best thing you can do is to reestablish the connection. And the best way to start this is to know what your connection type is. If you don't know, go take my quiz right now. Go to datingfire.com/connection. datingfire.com/connection. All right, so let's assume that I can't possibly talk you out of moving on from this guy. What's the next step? If he doesn't value you, what should you do? Step number one, start by writing this on your bathroom mirror. When he doesn't value me, he deserves to lose me, and I deserve to find the one. Hey, stop for a second and see if you really believe that. Or are you so blinded by fear of losing him that you'll do anything to get him back? That would be a huge mistake. Step number 2, this means the next step that you have to define is what your stop loss is. Stop loss is a term from the stock market, and what it means is, it's fairly simple, that a trader on the stock market knows when to sell a stock if it's starting to lose value. If it's on the way down, you want to get rid of it quick before you lose more money. After all, you want to avoid losing as much money as you can, right? If you hold on to something that is on the way down and you stick with it too long, you're going to lose all your equity and you're going to lose all the value. Which is why you have to have your own personal limit as to how far you're going to go in a relationship. So take a moment to think about that. If he doesn't really value you right now, do you think it's likely that he's going to change his mind? That he's going to change his attitude? Or maybe you're just going to hang on with hope? We don't want to cling on to irrational hope for too long. So take a look at your calendar and decide, how much more effort are you going to put into getting this man to adore you, right? The way you should, the way he should be adoring you right now. How much more time are you going to put in? 1 month? 2 months? You may want to go longer because that will avoid the nasty decision to walk away, right? I'm being a little sarcastic there. In truth, you're going to know when you're just avoiding the inevitable, right? So don't get stuck in that death spiral of a relationship. Set a firm goal, a firm stop loss, so that you can keep your life and your relationship plans on track. Don't waste more years waiting on someone who can't deliver. Step 3 is, what do you deserve? What is it you deserve? Sit down with your journal right now and write down what you think you deserve in a relationship. Be very specific. How much time do you need from him? What is it he should be doing to further the relationship on his own? And what should he not be doing? Trust me when I tell you that only about 2% of people will ever complete this step that I'm talking about right now, or the one I just gave you about setting an end date for the relationship. Most people don't want to be specific about the relationship goals because if they're not specific, it allows them to adjust them, change them on the fly, and even ignore them because, hey, they're not solid or concrete, they're not written down anywhere, which means you want to give yourself an out, right? That might sound harsh, but it's true. Don't give yourself room to waffle on this stuff. The next step is resolve not to cling. Again, one of the common mistakes as a woman is that you're going to start to be a little bit needy when it comes to the relationship, especially if you're not getting what you deserve, especially when you're trying to recapture a man's love and attention. If you start to turn up the volume on your neediness, you can pretty much forget about winning him back. Remember that the primary problem here is that he has lost his appreciation for you. That's why he's not valuing you. You can't force him to remember it. You can't make somebody appreciate something that they don't. It's a symptom of human nature. It's the reason that giveaways and free items actually often backfire. We don't value what we get for free, which leads me to the next step. Step number 5 is hold back some of your excess attention and effort. The most likely reason that he isn't valuing you right now is because he doesn't see your own personal boundaries. He's getting too much for free, and you know the saying about that, right? So while you think you may need to turn up the heat as far as showing him how perfect you are for him, this is actually going to completely backfire on you if you start doing it. If he appreciates you the way he should be, he wouldn't be acting this way. The best way to get into appreciating you is to show him what it is he would be losing. It's a little scare tactic, but yes, it's important. In fact, one of the best strategies is the next step. Step number 6 is drop him like first period French. I joke about this one a lot. Nobody in high school ever wanted to have French as the first class of the day, right? Or any foreign language for real, but you're barely awake as it was getting into school. So guidance counselors would often joke about this, that you dropped something like first period French. But I want you to take it seriously. In the same way that you know that you don't want that first period French class, you should also have extremely powerful resolve when it comes to dumping him when you're not being appreciated. If there's anything in the world you should guard with your life, it's your own feeling of self-worth and self-value. And when a man doesn't value you, you should immediately feel as if it's the worst insult ever thrown at you. After all, if he called you a name or he was physically violent with you, you'd walk away, wouldn't you? You better. So don't accept low-level abuse from a man when he isn't putting in attention to your relationship. It's the same thing. It's just a lower frequency form of abuse. And you need to think about it that way. Not all men are thinking selfishly. In truth, most women make it very easy for men to take them for granted. But when your man doesn't value you, it means he's going to put his needs before your own. It means he doesn't see the truth of the relationship that you feel that you have. And if that's the case, he needs to get his butt in gear right now. And the best way you do that is to dump him, because that's going to show him you have that kind of self-confidence. Hey, it's harsh, but it works. Step number 7, write this down in your journal. If you can't see yourself dumping him now, what would it take for that to happen? As a serious question, that's very serious, and you should seriously consider it. When your man doesn't value you, there is no room for trust in the relationship. Now, there are a lot of magazines and resources that would love to give you cheerleading messages all day long. You go, girl. You show him your worth. Yeah, you know. And I think sometimes you sense that those are pretty empty, right? Like you don't believe that, even if you were to say it. Now, I know that you didn't come here to hear these gloomy messages about having to dump a guy, but the truth is, if you can't dump him, then no strategy will ever really work, because he'll know that you're just bluffing. You'll let him walk all over you like a rug forever. So you don't necessarily want to break up with him, you don't even have to, but you do have to have the resolve to do it. And this is where your self-esteem comes first. Finally, step number 8, make a list of exactly how he needs to change. And then sit down with him and tell him about it right now. I know you're hoping that I'm going to give you some clever magic word like Urdu or salavagant. Yeah, that's actually a real word. Or something clever and weird and different, and maybe you hope that this magic word would instantly change his mind like a magical spell. But I also know you're a grown-up and you don't believe in spells and supernatural BS. If you want to create a real relationship, there's no room in it for superstition. You better get as real as you can, honey, because this is as real as it gets. Relationships don't thrive on dishonest little tricks. They're created by you being as honest as you possibly can be with yourself, as you want him to be with you. Stop trying to trick yourself or fool yourself, and stop trying to trick him and fool him. It's time to get down and dirty and learn exactly how to make men value you and desire you the way you want to be desired. Go take my quiz right now. It's about winning him back. Can you win him back? Is this guy cold or distant? Is he sending you mixed messages? Does it seem like he's fallen out of love, lost his interest? Find out if you can get him back in my short quiz. Go on over to datingfire.com/win-him-back. datingfire.com/win-him-back. If there's anything you do today besides follow the advice I just gave you, it's this. Go take the quiz, find out where you stand, and then let's get busy making this thing real. Aren't you tired of suffering day to day? Aren't you ready for something to change? Come on. If you're not ready for him to start loving you today, when will you? Right now is all that matters. Go take the quiz. datingfire.com/win-him-back. All right, here we are. Before you run away, please make it a point to go over, take that quiz. And if you're new here, or even if you're not, do the big 3. Like and subscribe to the channel. That's one of them. Get this stuff every week. It's awesome. Number 2, turn on the notifications. Click that little bell button or whatever it is on whatever service you're seeing this video, so that when I release these videos, you know that I'm going to have it for you. And if you're already subscribed, please share this channel with somebody. I'm giving away all this great information, and it's free, and all I want you to do is find it and use it. Don't let the algorithm bury Carlos, as I like to say. And number 3, comment below. Do you agree with these tips? Is there another video that you want? Leave me a comment if you want a part 2, or if there's some other video topic you want me to cover. Don't wait a few seconds. There's going to be another video popping up here for you to watch. This is Carlos Cavallo. As always, live and love with passion.